Good evening, I'm Matt Woodman. This is CTV News at 5. Tonight, stepping down, an Edmonton federal conservative resigns as a member of parliament. Launching a legal challenge, the Alberta Teachers Association fighting back against the province. And opening the farm gates from ranching to agriculture, what's happening at this year's farm fair?
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Matt Woodman.
Breaking news this evening, Edmonton Riverbend Conservative MP Matt Genereux has resigned. CTV's Brendan Purdy joins us in studio now with the latest on this story. So, Brendan, it was just yesterday. It sounded like Genereux had no plans to leave.
Well, Matt, rumors had circulated online throughout yesterday evening that Genereux would cross the floor to the Liberal Party, similar to what we saw from Nova Scotia MP Chris D'Entremont earlier this week. His office denied that speculation, saying he would remain a member of the Conservative caucus. Now, that all changed late this afternoon with the veteran politician saying that he's walking away from Parliament Hill. In a statement, Genereux said, "I ran in the last election hoping that Canadians would put their faith in Pierre Poilievre's Conservatives," adding that "I wanted to play a part in that vision." He went on to express his admiration for what he called many remarkable people elected to the House of Commons on both sides of the aisle. He didn't give a reason for his resignation. He did add that he hopes to address the House one final time in the future, but his focus is now shifting to his family. We're working to get reaction and analysis on this breaking story, and we'll have more tonight at 6. Matt?
All right, Brendan Purdy live in studio tonight. Thank you. The Alberta Teachers Association is launching a legal challenge against the legislation used by the province to force teachers back into the classroom. Bill 2 was used to end the 3-week-long teachers' strike. It imposed a contract and included the use of the notwithstanding clause to remove the teachers' collective bargaining power. CTV's Miriam Valdez-Carletti joins us in studio. So, Miriam, what is the ATA's plan at this point?
Well, Matt, the ATA says the Back to School Act sets a precedent that threatens the fundamental freedoms and legal protections afforded to all Albertans. It's filed an application in the Court of King's Bench, which includes a request for an injunction to pause Bill 2 while the case is heard.
Our message to the government is simple. You may silence teachers in the legislature with Bill 2, but you cannot silence them in the courts. Our message to Albertans is equally clear. This fight belongs to you too. Because if the government can do this to teachers today, it can do it to nurses, to paramedics, to tradespeople, to anyone tomorrow.
1 month ago, 50,000 Alberta teachers began their historic strike after rejecting an offer made in September. It included a 12% salary increase over 4 years, hiring 3,000 teachers, and market adjustments of up to 17% for most teachers. Last Monday, the province passed the Back to School Act using the notwithstanding clause. A constitutional law professor at the University of Ottawa says the ATA's lawsuit is risky but could pay off.
And if they do win in the long run, it would be very significant for them and, frankly, for Canadians in general to bring the message that these notwithstanding clauses, yes, they are legitimate in certain situations, but when they are being used illegitimately, there is a right to stand against it.
The province says it invoked the notwithstanding clause because students and parents deserve full certainty that children could return to the classroom and stay in the classroom. And Justice Minister Mickey Amory says the province will vigorously defend its position in court. Matt?
All right, Miriam Valdez-Carletti live in studio tonight. Thank you. The Premier is questioning how the province's recall legislation is being used.
I don't believe that the recall petitions have been entered to in good faith. That being said, Mr. Speaker, there is no legislation on the table at the moment to make any changes. So the members are going to wait and see if any of these petitions end up getting the number of signatures, and then we'll deal with it at that time.
Premier Danielle Smith says recall legislation should not be used to topple a government. She says that's what elections are for. 2 recall petitions have been given the green light so far. One targets the Education Minister, Dimitrios Nicolaides. The other is for Airdrie MLA Angela Pitt. Applicants have 3 months to collect the required signatures. Alberta's police watchdog has cleared 2 RCMP officers who shot and killed a teenage boy who initially called them for help. ACERT's report says in August of 2024, 15-year-old Haas Lightning Saddleback called RCMP saying he was being followed by people trying to kill him. He handed weapons to the responding officers but would not drop his backpack. ACERT says he reached into his bag and pointed what appeared to be a gun at them. The officers shot and killed him. He was unarmed. ACERT says the officers were defending themselves, believing the teen had a gun. Members of Samson Cree Nation have called for the resignation of the officers. An Edmonton Police Service officer has been charged in connection with a sexual assault while on duty. ACERT was directed to investigate the allegation 2 years ago. It found reason to believe an offense had happened. Crown prosecutors determined charges could be laid. Constable Renzo Geronimo is facing a number of charges, including sexual assault and unlawful confinement. The Edmonton Police Service says Geronimo is not in a frontline role and his duty status is under review. The opposition NDP has introduced a bill that proposes stronger rules and limits politicians from receiving gifts. If passed, Bill 202 would have harder caps on gifts government members can accept. It also aims to give the Ethics Commissioner more power to have those gifts disclosed to the public.
We believe these decisions should be made in the full light of day, and we believe it makes way more sense to have them in legislation that has to come to the legislature to be changed instead of in regulations that can be changed by the Premier on a whim.
The bill also proposes stronger codes of conduct for political staff. In 2023, the UCP government raised the limit on gifts MLAs can accept without Ethics Commissioner approval from $200 to $500. It is unlikely the NDP bill will pass as the UCP holds a majority government. City Council's decision to spend $1 million to create day shelter space for Edmonton's homeless is getting mixed reviews from people who work with the vulnerable. Mayor Andrew Knack says Council is responding to common concerns raised by Edmontonians during the municipal election campaign. The day shelters are intended to give people somewhere to spend time other than libraries, parks, or transit centers as the weather gets colder. Some people who work in homeless serving roles support the effort. Others are skeptical, though, the day shelters will be used. Carrie Cardinal with Niganan Housing Ventures says people living on the street often have complicated problems that require trust to address.
You don't really know what those solutions are until you build those relationships with people and get to know them and find out what their needs are. Are you able to do that in a day shelter project? I'm not sure.
A spokesperson for the Coalition for Justice and Human Rights sees the funding as a symbolic move by Council that could make a meaningful difference. Mark Charrington says day shelters can give people a welcoming place to warm up while addressing social disorder concerns from businesses. While research shows ski seasons are slowly shrinking around the world, it appears Alberta is well positioned to weather the challenge of climate change. Environmental group Protect Our Winters held an event in Canmore today focused on the effects of climate change on mountain communities, including the impact on the ski industry. According to one speaker from the University of Waterloo, Alberta is one of the most climate-resilient ski markets in the world, thanks to high elevations in the Rockies, cold weather, and dry air.
Other than Utah in North America, you're the most climate resilient. So as ski areas in California and other places struggle, that will be one of the types of tourism you'll be able to benefit from in the long term.
Protect Our Winters calls on ski hills to make sustainability a priority in their operations and infrastructure, to advocate for climate protection, and to raise awareness about the impact of climate change on winter sports. Well, Josh, it looks like we were that close to getting our first snowfall of the year here in Edmonton. It just missed us.
Yeah, I mean, there were a few snowflakes this morning as things had cooled off enough, but overnight last night as the heaviest precipitation was going through, the temperature of the air in the mid-levels of the atmosphere just didn't cool off enough, and so it all stayed rain. But in all these areas in white here, from northwestern Alberta all the way through off into Vermilion, Lloydminster, Cold Lake, Bonnyville, there is snow on the ground, and there was this morning. In fact, the snow's still coming down here in parts of east central, northeastern Alberta, and all you had to do was drive 40, 50 kilometers east or northeast of Edmonton. You get to the Redwater, Bruderheim, Elk Island areas. There is snow on the ground. So it was just wet here in the city today. There's another chance for snow tomorrow, and I think now that that mid-level has cooled off enough, I think that is going to definitely be snow tomorrow, not rain. There's a little bit of a break in the cloud cover that we're going to see here over the next little bit, and then that's the next system that will push in for tomorrow and give us some snow. Here's what's left of the snow that went through overnight last night, still lingering in east central Alberta. CTV drone is showing just mostly cloudy skies in the Edmonton area. No precipitation for the time being. No precipitation probably until mid to late morning tomorrow. It is going to stay on the chilly side, though, especially once that cloud cover starts to break and we see a few clear spots through the evening hours. We're at 0 right now. We've been hovering between 0 and +1 all day. 2 degrees will go down as the official daytime high. That came in just after midnight. All day we've been steady at around the freezing mark. We'll slide to about -3 or -4 tomorrow morning, and then -1, -2 range through most of the afternoon with snow, maybe even some accumulation on grassy areas by the end of the day tomorrow. We'll talk more about that in just a few minutes.
All right, Josh, thank you. Coming up next on CTV News, silly stashes growing a fun Movember mustache to start a serious conversation.
I grow a stupid mustache. I don't think I've ever done just a basic mustache.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
You're watching CTV News at 5.
MLAs and military veterans gathered at the legislature today to honor and remember the people who fought for our country. The ceremony recognized the contributions of Canadian and Indigenous veterans. Many filled the rotunda to pay their respects to military members past and present. The Premier and opposition leader both took part.
This ceremony today is also a promise that those of us gathered here and people across this free and peaceful province will honor and remember those brave acts and hold gratitude in our hearts forever for those men and women who have served and who continue to serve in armed conflicts around the world.
National Indigenous Veterans Day is this Saturday. Remembrance Day is next Tuesday, November the 11th. Well, it's November, meaning lots of men are growing out their mustaches. Movember has raised more than $1.5 billion for men's health since it started more than 20 years ago. As CTV's Evan Kenny explains, the mustaches are a fun way to start a serious conversation.
For the rest of the month, many men around the world are putting down their clippers and razors to support men's health. Justin Woodruff has been doing this for nearly 20 years.
2007 is when I started my career, and the firm was doing it. And at that point, I'm like, I don't know if I can grow a mustache. This is going to be hilarious. Let's have a go.
He has fun with his mustache, taking on some out there looks.
I grow a stupid mustache. I don't think I've ever done just a basic mustache. I don't choose a mustache, the mustache chooses me.
Movember raises money and awareness for men's mental health, prostate cancer, and testicular cancer.
We all have a brother, a cousin, a father, a friend, a loved one who's impacted by this.
A report done by the charity shows 4,000 Canadians die from prostate cancer each year.
The fact that we don't have a dedicated strategy for poor men's health is costing Canadian taxpayers $12.4 billion, which is a big number. And actually, that's the cost of running 12 major hospitals in a year.
Woodruff's sons are his inspiration.
I just want them to be open and be able to grow up in a world where they can talk about their emotions, talk about their feelings, as opposed to my dad's time in life was you bottle it up, you man up, you move on.
Last year, he was recognized by Movember as one of Canada's top community advocates. This year, he's hoping to keep the conversation going. Evan Kenny, CTV News, Edmonton.
Still to come tonight, hands-on learning, how an Alberta library is encouraging people to try a variety of hobbies.
And that's really what it's about for us, is giving people the opportunity to experience things that they may not have been able to.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
The Olds Library in central Alberta wants to give people a way to learn outside of textbooks. Its library of things includes metal detectors, video game consoles, kitchen appliances, and a knitting machine you can borrow for a week at a time. The library says this is a great way to try new hobbies or complete a DIY project without buying something for only one use.
We hear how cool it is. It's such a unique idea, as well as from families who are just like, this was so cool. I got to take out the KitchenAid and we made pasta as a family. And so that was a unique experience that they were able to have, that if they didn't have the money to buy their own KitchenAid with the pasta extender. And that's really what it's about for us, is giving people the opportunity to experience things that they may not have been able to.
The library suggests asking your local branch if they have something similar.
I think there is one here in Edmonton.
There's definitely, I think, a little tool one. You can go and borrow tools and that sort of thing to do stuff at home.
What am I going to store in my garage then?
Might have had some people.
What am I going to put in the garage?
People north of Edmonton might have been looking for some shovels this morning.
Yes.
Was there that much, or?
Well, it was good in some spots. Good 2 to 5 centimeters worth of snow. In a lot of areas, it was just sort of on grassy areas and in the ditches on either side of the highways. Tomorrow, south of the city, you're on alert. You may want to reach for some shovels by the end of the day tomorrow. River Valley Sky Cams brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed right, it's free. 0 and mostly cloudy skies. 0 in Grand Prairie right now. -4 in Fort McMurray and -1 in Red Deer. Jasper's up to 6 degrees though. Snow, as we said, still coming down in east central and northeastern Alberta. That'll stick around into at least the early to mid evening hours. There's your next push of moisture getting set to come in. Now there is a break before those clouds come in, so we'll see a little bit of clearing through the early to mid-evening, and then overnight tonight that cloud cover will fill in. By early morning, you already have some snow here through the foothills and into northwestern Alberta. By about 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, snow's already coming down from Red Deer off to the east and southeast, and then west and northwest of Edmonton. I think you're gonna see some snow, maybe 1 to 5 centimeters worth of snow through the morning and early afternoon hours. The best chance for snow in Edmonton starts mid to late morning, carries right through the afternoon, and then tapers off in the evening. But this system is really, it's a lot further south than the one that went through last night, and so it's really going to mainly target areas off to the south and southeast of Edmonton with the best chance for some accumulating snow, especially here in this dark blue and purple zone. That's where you could potentially see maybe 2 to 5 centimeters worth of snow, maybe a little bit here as well along Highway 16 just off to the west and along Highway 43 northwest of the city. With temperatures staying below 0, it is going to be a little slick along the QE2. There's going to be enough traffic that I don't think we'll see a whole lot of icing, but you get into some of these more rural roads on either side of the QE2, and there could be some really slick and icy spots on those highways through tomorrow afternoon and into tomorrow evening. So keep that in mind if you have any travel plans to put you on highways either west or south of the Edmonton region tomorrow. -9 in Fort McMurray, -2 in Grand Prairie, and about -3 here in Edmonton and Red Deer. -4 for the high tomorrow in Fort McMurray. 2 degrees in Grand Prairie and about -1 in Red Deer, with the potential for a couple centimeters of snow by the end of the day. Here in Edmonton, I think probably only a centimeter or 2, but there's a chance some neighborhoods could see maybe 3 or 4 centimeters of snow by the end of the day. You can see it kind of starts midday. Wind, thankfully, will be light, so blowing snow won't be an issue. And temperatures, after topping out around -1 around lunchtime, they'll slip back into the -2, -3 range late in the afternoon. Absolute final deadline in the Mighty Millions Lottery is midnight tomorrow. You could win the $2.5 million grand prize package with a luxury home and $100,000 cash. Just go to mightymillionslottery.com. So, snowy day tomorrow. Saturday, temperatures slowly start to rebound. We get some sunny breaks in the afternoon. We'll get to about 3 or 4 degrees. And then look at this for early next week. 7 Sunday, 9 or 10 on Monday, and still well above 0 into Remembrance Day Tuesday and Wednesday, Thursday of next week as well.
All right, Josh, thank you. When we return, where's the beef? Learning about where our food comes from at this year's farm fair.
And it takes a community to be able to make that happen.
CTV News at 5 continues.
Friday in your morning, a look at hockey culture through the lens of dozens of former junior players. What those who love the game thinks needs to be changed. Plus, tips to get your vehicle ready for winter.
Your Morning Edmonton, weekdays.
The Alberta Council of Ukrainian Arts is celebrating 10 years of its arts center and boutique. To mark the occasion, an exhibit is showcasing work from 60 alumni artists. The council acquired its own space back in 2015 to share stories about Ukrainian culture. The council's president says the traditional and contemporary art on display is influenced by the country's heritage and identity.
A lot of the artwork you'll see, even if it's contemporary, there's a bit of influence in it from that Ukrainian culture. It might be color, it might be technique, it might have a little piece of some type of embroidery, worked into it. But there will be something in it that you can see that tie to that heritage.
The anniversary exhibition begins tonight and runs until Christmas Eve. Farm Fair International is back at the Edmonton Expo Centre, attracting ranchers from around the world. CTV's Merrick DeCash has more.
Good boy, buddy. Maddie Watkins is a grade 12 student from Okotoks. She grew up on the farm. She's been involved in a 4-H program for 10 years. Each year, the program provides her with a new steer to raise.
I'm really proud of Carl this year. He is a clubby cross, which means he is a mix of a bunch of breeds that just have the best characteristics for a show steer. He's got amazing hair, and I'm loving his bone structure. I think he'll make a fantastic show animal.
Watkins wants to use this weekend to shine a light on something she says is overlooked by many.
You just show up in the grocery store and you see all these packages of beef, and without knowing how hard it is to get it there, you have no true understanding of that. And it takes a community to be able to make that happen.
Her father, Peter Watkins, brings his cattle to Edmonton's Farm Fair every year. He says it's important to show people how much effort goes into making beef.
We really pay attention to characteristics and are just trying to raise the best animals to take to the beef industry that we can. A big part of raising cattle is genetics, and that's why we're all here at Farm Fair International.
People from all over the world are at this year's event. Ignacio Gomez brought 9 Mexican cattle ranchers from Guadalajara. He says they have a lot to learn.
You have improved a lot your bloodlines, the genetics of different breeds, and that will help a lot the Mexican cattle growers to improve their cattle genetics on their herds down in Mexico.
Back in the barn, Watkins hopes everybody coming to Farm Fair for the first time learns lots.
When you've grown up in the livestock and agriculture industry, it's quite shocking to see the divide between rural and urban and how it's stretching every year.
A gap this event hopes to help close. Merrick DeCash, CTV News, Edmonton.
And that's our show. Thanks for watching. I'm Matt Woodman. CTV News continues right now.